Call comes on a Tuesday morning. Your agent doesn't say congratulations. He says, "Are you sitting down?" The studio wants you to take over the role, the one that belongs to someone else, the one that millions of people have watched for years, the one that made another actor a legend. You say yes, because of course you say yes. What happens next will be the hardest thing you have ever done in your career. Not because of the acting, not because of the schedule, but because of what comes the moment your name gets announced. This is what it actually feels like to step into someone else's shoes, when those shoes belong to a god. The announcement. The studio puts out a press release on a Friday afternoon. Your name, your photo, the franchise logo beside it. You are refreshing your phone every 30 seconds. You watch the numbers climb. 10,000 comments in the first hour. 50,000 by midnight. You make the mistake of reading them. They are not kind. Some of them are angry. Some of them are devastated. Some of them write long paragraphs about why this is wrong, why you are wrong, why the studio is wrong. There are petitions. There are hashtags. There are video essays from people who have never met you explaining in detail why you will destroy something they love. When Heath Ledger was announced as the Joker in 2007, the reaction was identical. Fans said he was too young, too pretty, wrong for the role, the wrong kind of actor entirely. They had already decided before he had filmed a single frame. You already know how that story ended. But right now, on a Friday night, that ending feels very far away. You close your phone and sit in the dark for a long time. The weight of the character. The first day of prep, your director hands you a folder. Inside it is everything. Every film in the franchise. Every interview the previous actor gave about this character. Every piece of fan analysis. Every theory. Every emotional moment that audiences connected with over the years. He says, read all of it. Not to copy it, to understand what you are carrying. You spend 3 weeks doing nothing else, and somewhere in those 3 weeks, something shifts. You stop seeing it as someone else's role. You start seeing it as a living thing, a character that has existed across years, across films, across people's childhoods and first dates and quiet Sunday afternoons. This character was there for moments in people's lives that had nothing to do with movies. Daniel Craig sat with this weight before Casino Royale. A website with 90,000 signatures said he was wrong for James Bond before he had spoken a single line of dialogue. He didn't fight it. He didn't argue with the internet. He went into a gym for 6 months and built a body that made every argument irrelevant the moment he walked out of the ocean. You can't fight the noise. You can only become undeniable. So that is what you decide to do. First day on set. The first day on set, the crew is quiet. Not unfriendly, quiet. There is a difference. Some of them have worked on this franchise for years. Some of them knew the person who came before you. Some of them are still grieving, whether the previous actor retired, or left, or is gone in a way that can never be undone. You walk onto set and you feel it immediately. The absence of someone else. It sits in the air like a held breath. When Paul Walker died mid-production on Furious 7, Vin Diesel had to make a choice. Not just a business choice, a human one. He chose to finish the film. He chose to honor something instead of bury it. Every scene he filmed after that carried a weight that was not in the script. You could feel it on screen. You feel something similar now. The director calls action. You do the scene, and when it is over, the crew is still quiet. But one of the camera operators, a man who has been on this franchise since the beginning, gives you a single nod. It is the smallest thing that has ever meant the most to you. The comparison never stops. Here is something nobody prepares you for. The comparison never stops. Not in interviews, not in reviews, not in the comments of every single thing you post for the next 5 years. Every performance you give will be measured against someone else's. Every choice you make will be explained in terms of what they would have done differently. You will be in the middle of an otherwise excellent review, and there it will be, the sentence. The one that says, it's good, but it's not quite the same as Don Cheadle replaced Terrence Howard as War Machine after the first Iron Man. He never once made a public issue of it. He simply played the role with complete commitment for over a decade and 14 films. He never tried to be Terrence Howard. He was entirely Don Cheadle. And eventually the comparison faded. Not because people forgot, but because Don Cheadle made his version real enough that it stood on its own. That is the only way through. Not more defensive, just realer. You learn to stop reading the comparisons. Not because they don't hurt, but because they are not useful. The only opinion that changes anything is the one the audience forms when the lights go down and the screen comes on. Everything else is noise. The moment it turns, the film releases on a Thursday night. You do not sleep. You have done everything you could do. The preparation, the work, the 3 months of filming, the year of press, the interviews where you answered the same question 200 times. How does it feel to take over this role? With patience you had to manufacture from nothing. You lie in a hotel room in a city you don't live in, and you stare at the ceiling and you wait. The first reviews come in just after midnight. You do not read them yourself. Your assistant reads them first. She calls you at 1 a.m. Her voice is different. You can hear it before she says a word. She says, they love it. Not like it. Love it. By Friday morning, the tone has shifted completely. The same publications that questioned the casting are now writing about the performance. The same corners of the internet that organized against you are now sharing the trailer with their own commentary added. Heath Ledger won the Oscar posthumously. The people who signed the petitions went quiet. Not because they admitted they were wrong. People rarely admit they were wrong. They simply moved on. And in moving on, they left behind the only evidence of how wrong they had been. You don't gloat. There is nothing to gloat about. A character that people love exists. You were trusted with it. You did not break it. That is enough. What it costs. But here is the part that never makes it into the press release. It costs something. Not the hate. You are prepared for that. Or as prepared as anyone can be. Not the comparison. That becomes background noise eventually. What it costs is something quieter. You spend so long becoming someone else's character that somewhere in the middle of it, you lose track of yourself. You have studied this role for so long, carried it for so long, defended it for so long, that one morning you sit in a quiet room and you genuinely cannot remember what you were like before you took this job. The character lives in you now, not in a poetic way, in a practical way. The way they hold their hands, the way they walk, the specific weight of the silence they carry in a scene. These things do not disappear when the cameras stop. You give an interview, and you answer a question about your own life, and you hear yourself using words that are not yours. It takes a long time to come back. Most actors who step into legacy roles will tell you some version of this, off the record, never on camera. That the character asks for more than a performance. It asks for a piece of you that you do not always get back on schedule. Closing. The call comes on a Tuesday morning, and somewhere tonight, another phone is ringing. Another actor is sitting down. Another studio is about to attach a name to a legacy that does not belong to them yet. They are terrified. They should be. They are also about to find out something that cannot be taught and cannot be shortcut. That the most powerful thing you can do with someone else's legacy is not protect it, not replicate it, not apologize for it, is to be so completely and undeniably yourself inside of it that one day people forget there was ever anyone else. The call comes on a Tuesday morning. What you do next is everything. Which recast do you think actually did it better than the original? I want to know your honest answer. Drop it below.